Hey beautiful people, what is up? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Makeup Monday. Yes, I just made that up. I'm trying to turn Mondays into my new makeup releases video. Now, I know you guys love hearing my thoughts on new makeup releases. Quite frankly, I love talking about it. I talk to you guys a lot on the Instagrams. Yes, I said the Instagrams. But I talk to you guys a lot about new makeup releases on Instagram. And I feel like I haven't been as consistent with these new makeup releases videos. But I do find them to be a ton of fun. I love chatting with you guys in the comments. And it's a good way for me to share my thoughts with all of you and hear, even more than just me responding to Instagram DMs. So that's the plan. The plan is to turn Mondays into Makeup Mondays where we go into new makeup releases. I'm trying to commit to this, you guys. But y'all know my schedule is not the most consistent, but I'm going to be trying my hardest to make sure every Monday we have a new makeup releases video. Now, I don't want to, keep you guys waiting too long before we dive into it. So I'm just going to go ahead and scooch over to the side. You guys already know we're going to be using Makeup on Your Radar's Instagram profile to see all of the new releases. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, I know you guys are already wondering, I am wearing the Sickly Sweet palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. These are my first two looks. It's a lot, I know. You guys will get the full review when I'm ready. But these are the first two looks. So spoiler, stay tuned, subscribe to make sure you don't miss when that video goes live. But yes, this is out and this is it's not out yet, but this is the new Blend Bunny Sickly Sweet palette. And of course, we're going to be talking about this release. If the lighting does feel a little bit off, it is Sunday here and it's raining outside. Apparently, we're getting the effects from Hurricane Ophelia. So the lighting is very grayish. You guys know I typically film in natural light from my window. So I still have some window lighting, but I do have a little bit of a artificial ring light set up behind me, as well as my just regular bedroom light. So apologies if the lighting feels a little bit off. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and dive into these new makeup releases. So starting from the top and working our way down, Peachy Queen Store has a Kush Queen palette. Is it me? Am I the only one that's just over the whole weed, ganja, marijuana themed things? Just all of it. I just feel like it's just so, it's just, and it's not ghetto. I'm not saying it's ghetto. I just think it's a little tacky and overdone. So I don't know. I'm just kind of over it. And looking at the color story in this palette, it's like, how'd you get weed from this? But anyways, it is a 12 pan eyeshadow palette. It's going to be $29.99. 12 shimmers, mattes, and diamond shades. I don't know what a diamond shade is, but I will say $30. Doesn't seem like there's any multi-chromes or anything in there. I am not familiar with this brand, so if y'all are, please let me know. Makeup Radar has a code Radar15. I'm going to assume it'll give you 15% off. Now, the color story, it feels a little chaotic. I'm not going to lie. There's just a lot going on. It's very colorful, very bright. Doesn't seem like you can do any real neutral looks. You do have two neutral even shimmers, but no neutral mattes. So, But I'm also not really looking to bring any new brands into my life right now. Quite frankly, I'm trying to cut them down. So let's just move right along. Spectrum Collections. So they have a Mickey Mouse. Is it brushes? Okay, so there's a Mickey Mouse release. So it includes a Mickey Mouse hand storage pot. Why? It's literally a thumbs up to put your brushes in. Who is asking for this? Oh my gosh. But in addition to that, you could buy the brushes and all the other stuff. Now the pot alone is apparently 61 pounds. Y'all, don't do that. Don't do that. 61 pounds for a thumbs up to put some brushes in? Absolutely not. That whole hand better blend my eyeshadow too for $61, 61 pounds, which means it's more when you convert it to US. Absolutely not. Y'all. But if you buy the full bundle, it's going to be $159. And the full bundle gives you the brush set, the storage pot, 2 sponges, a kabuki brush, and a makeup bag. No, just no. Let me keep moving along before this gets me mad. Who is this? Givenchy has a eyeshadow palette. So it's a 9-pan. You get, oh, that's actually a cool brush. So it does come with a brush, but I thought it was going to be those like ugly Tom Ford brushes, you know the ones that I'm talking about. But it looks like these are actually like usable brushes. One is like a very, very mini blending brush, and the next one is like a eyeshadow flat brush. So it's cute. The shades look beautiful. They look like they have a decent amount of depth to them, so they could work for someone of my complexion. Barely. I wish there was one deepening up matte shade, but I've never tried this formula. But it's $67. I mean, it's Givenchy. Yeah, I mean, there's just better out there that I wouldn't feel inclined to buy. So this is considered their holiday release, and it's available at Nordstrom. I'm going to assume nobody's going to buy this, and this is going to be on sale. So just saying, you don't have to buy this. Okay, let's skip this Gloss Gods advent calendar because I don't even know what that is. And let's talk about Ghostface. Y'all, we finally have a release. Glamlite has given us the full Ghostface collection. So, this is what we waited for? This? Really? Really, y'all? This is what we waited for. So, a couple of things, and let's go through them one by one. So, apparently there's going to be this lip duo. So, you're going to get a black cherry lip care duo. It looks like it's a scrub and probably a lip oil or lip balm of some sort. It comes in a little pot. I don't really love these. Maybe the scrub, yes, obviously, but I don't like digging my fingers into anything for the most part, unless it's eyeshadow to put it on the lids. But for like lip stuff, I'm not a huge fan. So, not really into it. Now, the price I am into, because for both of these, it's only $12. That's not bad at all. That is actually really darn good. And as much as I'm going to talk a bunch of smack about this Glamlite collection, I will say Glamlite prices are legit. And considering that they are doing these collabs with these major, TV shows and movies and whatnot, I'm really glad that their price isn't like exorbitantly high. So I'll just put that there, and now we can get back to the rest of the shenanigans. So next up, there is a lip duo. So you're gonna get a lip liner and is it a gloss? It looks like it's a gloss. A lip tint. So it's called a tint. Ooh, okay, that's actually cute. The tint is cute. I'm wondering how this is gonna look, how it's gonna fade, because it has, in my opinion, a little bit more pigment than a standard lip tint. And for the liner and the lip tint, it's gonna be $15. That's not bad. Again, not bad at all. It's called the Blood Red Lip Kit. Okay. And now, the final thing is the eyeshadow palette. Y'all. I mean, it's a cool toned palette that's very deep, very grungy. It does have a couple sort of light transition shades, but was this what they was teasing us with? I mean, a couple of months ago, they showed us like 3 swatches that were like very multi-dimensional, and I am not seeing those swatches here. Or maybe I'm not remembering correctly, and quite frankly, it could be that I'm not remembering correctly because it's been so damn long. But this does not, I'm not making the correlation. Plus, you guys are so on it. Y'all have already showed the swatches of this palette compared to the swatches of the Hershey palette, compared to the swatches of the Chucky palette. And I'm not gonna lie, it feels a little copy and paste, which makes us even more disappointing because they've been teasing about this for weeks. This is like the biggest release of the year, the best collab, blah, blah, blah. And then this feels like you guys just duped yourselves 2 times over, because from what people are saying, this looks like the Hershey palette with maybe 2 or 3 shimmers swapped out that feel a little bit more on the multi-chrome side. And because the mattes are pretty much the same. The mattes look exactly like previous mattes from previous palettes. Now the palette is going to be $32. I feel like that is around the price of their previous palettes, but what I will say is I feel like $35 was close to what I paid for the Rick and Morty palette, which was significantly larger. Because this is only, what, 15 shades? So, and I'm guessing the higher price is probably because of those multi-chromes that are in there. But I'm not inspired by this palette. I don't like it. I was trying to beat around the bush. I was trying to like figure out a way to say it nicely. I was trying to really like put my words together in a way that was, you know, nice. But I don't like it. It's kind of disappointing because I feel like we waited for this huge reveal. I also kind of expected maybe like a red shade in there because of the whole ghost face blood thing. But no. Let me know, because I was just like, oh, we waited all this time for this. The only thing I see from this collection that I'm even remotely interested by is that lip duo. That's it. Because I don't need a lip scrub or like that lip balm, lip care kit thing. Don't need that. Y'all know how I feel about that ugly bag. Don't nobody need that at all. The palette, meh. Oh, and there's also a mirror. So there's also a mirror too if you wanted to pick up the mirror. It is going to be $26. That's probably the other most interesting thing about this. But I will say, and I think I've said this before, I am not a scary movie type of gal. Yes, I will love my true crime. Yes, I watch my true crime, but I don't watch scary movies. So I have no connection to Ghostface. I have no connection to the series. I just don't care. So this is just not going to be for me. But let me know what y'all think. I just felt like, oh, that was it. That's what y'all spent all this money and time and advertising and teasing on. Okay, let's keep moving along. And I'm going to skip a couple of things because I know these last couple of videos have been very long. So I'm trying to like really only focus on the best of the best to talk about. So I do want to talk about the Milk Holiday release because I am actually quite curious about this. So I'm interested in the Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer and Setting Spray Duo. So it's going to be $40, and I'm wondering if this is a full size because the actual full size of these products are really small, and this is going to be $40, which means each product is going to be about $20 a piece, plus you have the makeup bag. So if you divide the 40 by 3, it's actually going to be less than $20 each, including the makeup bag. So that's what I'm interested in. I actually have the primer right here. I think this is the full size, not the mini. So, or maybe this is the mini because I wasn't sure. Do they have a mini? But yeah, this is the primer. Where's the setting spray? It should be somewhere here too. Anyway, I have both the primer and the setting spray. I really, really like the primer. I think it's a very good mattifying primer. The setting spray is nice, but I don't like the sprayer. It gets clogged very easily. So every time I use it, I have to make sure to clean it after and before, otherwise you get like one direct spray in the eye, so it's just not the best sprayer in my opinion. But overall, it's a good setting spray. I think that it would probably rank third for me. So I have Charlotte Tilbury one size and probably that one. But I am interested in this set because I think value-wise it might actually be pretty good. And then if you do it in like the Sephora VIB sale and you get an additional 20% off on top of it, it might actually work out to be a pretty decent savings. There's also going to be the Hydro Grip Primer set. So you're going to get the primer and the setting spray again. Same $40. So not bad if that is like your primer of choice. And it looks like it's like the mattifying primer for the oily girls. The Hydro Grip for the more dry, dewy girl lovers. So I think that's actually a cool set. This is interesting. Now I know I said I was here for no brands. But Dandelions Company, I am assuming, Dandelions Co., has a Fall Enchantment palette. Now, the swatches on this deep arm are cute. They look rich. Ooh. And the orange. Y'all know how I feel about a good orange palette. There's only one dark brown, which they could have gone a little bit deeper on that dark brown, but we're going to let that go. It's... Oh, I guess... This isn't necessary. Is it a palette? So apparently it's a bundle. Or I guess they do singles. So you can get the bundle with the palette for $50. Or if you just want the singles alone, it's going to be $40. And this is 12 shades for $40. Not bad. These do look a little handmade. I will say that. they look very imperfect, which is like a good indicator that this is a handmade or hand pressed shadow. So I might look into this a little bit because I have no idea who Dandelion Cosmetics is, but I like this fall looking palette. It's very warm, it's very neutral, it's very wearable. The shimmers look very pretty, but they don't look over the top, so it does look like one that would actually work well for work. So my interest is piqued. New brand, maybe. Okay, so Terra Moons is going to be, it's coming soon. So they're going to be releasing 12 highlighters. Okay. These are interesting colors. I don't need no more highlighters. Let's just start there. And while we talk about Terra Moons, let's talk about the whole Terra Moons launch, not launch thing. So I just want to acknowledge that they're not doing the collab. I will be very transparent and say I was not invested in that whole collab in the first place. Partly because, one, I don't know who the creator is. I didn't really know what was happening until I saw a couple of stories and I was like, what? And then I did, like, honestly, the bare minimum in terms of searching to figure out who the creator is and what was going on. And part of that being, I don't really buy a lot of single eyeshadows, so I knew that I wasn't going to invest in the collection anyway because I'm not necessarily a single shadow gal. I do have some Terra Moon shadows, but it's not like I'm big on singles. So I was completely fine with it. And then I try not to get into the whole makeup drama thing, you guys. Like, I am exhausted in every way, form, or fashion. I'm glad that Terra Moons took the time to reflect and listen to their customers and then do what they thought was appropriate. But I'm not swayed either way, left, right, up, or down. Like, I'm unbothered. So I don't know. Let me guys know how you guys are feeling about it. Were you interested in the collab? Were you excited by the collab? Are you okay with Terra Moon's statement? Or are you just like me and you just don't care? Because it, like, honestly, given the price of everything else in the world, there's so many other things that I have to worry about to keep myself alive. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, you guys. Because I'm just curious. But I wanted to say that I saw it. I saw the statement and it is what it is. Okay, so moving along, let's talk about Fantasy Cosmetica. They are releasing a new eyeshadow palette. It is going to be the Warlock collection. Y'all know how I feel about Fantasy Cosmetica. I really love their color stories. Here's the thing, and I will say this up front so there's no like confusion. They do use private labeled formulas. And I have no issues with private label formulas. I actually am fine with it. As long as brands are, one, very transparent about it, and two, are creating something that's unique. And I think there's a difference when people are buying pre-made palettes where they don't choose the colors, they don't choose the arrangement, they don't really do anything, versus, you know, people that are buying pre-made formulas and they are creating or curating a color story for us. I've said this before, creating color stories is not my ministry. That's why I don't buy a ton of singles, and that's why I don't do BYOPs. It's just not for me. But I do appreciate brands and people who have the vision to pull a lot of colors together and to come up with a color story that seems unique or fresh or exciting. And that's why I really enjoy Fantasy Cosmetica, because even though they're using, you know, private label shadows or, you know, these pre-made shadows, they do create these color stories that I'm just like, damn, that's actually really pretty, and I wouldn't have thought to pull those together. And I also appreciate that with creating these 9-pan palettes, they always have depth, y'all. That is so not true for a lot of brands. And I actually started buying Fantasy Cosmetica when they had their Druid palette, and I loved that one. And since then, they've sent me PR, and every single palette has the amount of depth that I need to get like a really dark outer corner and to have a transition shade, which is so important for someone of my complexion. And with a 9-pan eyeshadow palette, sometimes people like me can become an afterthought, and we just don't have the shades that we need. No, for this release, you guys, this is so pretty. This is so darn pretty. I'm so excited. I love the green in here. I love that there's almost like one neon green to play with. and then one that's more olivey, and then we have 2 deep mattes, a deep green and a deep blue, and again, versatility. So not only do we have greens in this palette, but we have blue and we have some pink mauve kind of tones. So there's going to be a lot that can be done here. Now, this isn't necessarily going to be a neutral leaning palette. Like, this is going to be colorful, you know? Their last palette that they released was the sort of neutral release for the brand. This one, you're not really going to have any neutral options in here. From the mattes to the shimmers, it's going to be colorful. But I am excited to give this a try. That green kind of multi-chrome looks stunning. Now, this is going to be coming or available on the 27th, which should be like 2 days from now or something like that. If you want to buy the palette alone, it's going to be $38.99. I do have an affiliate code with the brand. It will save you 10%, and I will get a little kickback from that. And it's just Jamila. All my codes are just my name. So I'll have that down below if you want to pick it up. Now, interestingly, and I do appreciate that they're doing this now, if you don't want the whole palette, but there's a specific shade that you want, the matte shadows are only $5, $4.99. And the duochromes or the multichromes are only $9.99, which is honestly quite cheap for duochromes and multichromes on the market. You know, the multichromes that are typically out there start at like $15 and then go up. This would be $9.99. You could also use, like I said, in an affiliate code and bring that down by 10% again. So you might be able to save a little extra dollar or so on your purchase, which is not bad. So if you don't want the whole palette, but you see a specific shade that you want, like there's that one multi-chrome green that's stunning, I would say buy the single. Now, in addition to the palette, one thing Fantasy Cosmetica started about 2 releases ago is they started doing fragrances with their collection. I love me a good fragrance. I don't talk about it a lot on this channel because I feel like I have very old lady taste, but I like what I like, mind your business. So I'm very bad at describing fragrances, so it is what it is. But there are going to be 2 fragrances that are launching with the palette, along with some lip oils. So I will be getting that in PR. According to USPS, it should show up tomorrow. So, of course, there's going to be a video talking about the shadows, the lip oils, because I love me a good lip oil. And I will, tell you guys about the fragrances, let you know how I'm feeling about it. But I will say, very excited for this. When Fantasy Cosmetica reached out to share the new release and asked if I wanted to get it in PR, I was like, absolutely. That's another thing the brand does that I really respect, is that they ask first if it is going to be a release that you're interested in, so that you can reject the PR if you don't want it. And that could be because you don't have time, or you just are overwhelmed, or you just don't like the color story, So I appreciate that I got a chance to see it, say yes, I would like to receive it, and I'm going to get to playing it. That green, y'all, that green is going to get me by hook and by crook. So I'm excited. Can't wait to put that on my eyes. Okay, let's keep on moving. So Nabla Cosmetics, they have been sneak peeking something. I don't know what it is. It's like a snake. I'm going to assume it's a highlight or something like that. Maybe. But we'll see. It says coming soon. I don't like snakes. So this kind of imagery is kind of freaking me out. Not going to lie. Not a big snake person. I don't know if it's because I'm a very religious person. Although they are just slimy and weird. And just, ugh. But no. I'm not interested, mainly because it's a snake. But moving along, Ladybug Glow has the Castle of Horror palette with Blair Dale. This is pretty. So it's a purple-blue palette. This is cute. I like the depth in the mattes. Now, I've never tried the Ladybug Glow eyeshadow formula. I know there were issues with the brand in a couple launches ago, but we're not going to get into that. But I do like this color story. That blue looks really, really pretty. Like, it's kind of like a tealish blue. Ooh. So, yeah, I'm interested in seeing, more swatches of this on like a deeper skin tone. But overall, I love the color story for this. And congrats, Blair, on this collab. Ooh, so Wicked Widow Beauty has some matte lipsticks. Oh, I thought these were like lip oils again. They're matte lipsticks. It's purple, turquoise, and green. I don't buy these because there's absolutely no way I'm wearing this too, other than a video. Like, I don't even wear this out in public, so there's no reason for me to want or buy anything this color. So I'm just gonna say that's cool. Okay, let's talk about it. The Blend Bunny Sickly Sweet palette. you guys already saw, I got it in PR. So this is what the palette looks like. And when I saw the reveal, I was like, oh my God, the chaos. Now, we all have come to know and love Blend Bunny because they gave us gradients. They said, you're going to start with the light and then you're going to go down to the deep. And I always appreciated that as someone who was makeup and I still consider myself a makeup novice and who is not a makeup artist, who has no formal training, who's literally learning this as I go along, making this up and making a lot of mistakes along the way. The fact that shadows were laid out in a gradient where you didn't have to guess how to create a nice gradient on your eyes and how to deepen things up or what shade to go in to deepen things up. I loved that. Now, I do understand kind of where this release was going with it. Because one, I have heard from a lot of people and I've seen a lot of comments where it's like, how many rainbow palettes can you do, right? Because we have blends, we have Surge, we have Primal. They're all very rainbow, so I get it. Plus, I think a lot of folks were interested in having the colors a little bit more chaotic. That way they could be forced to think outside the box. Because sometimes when you see things in a gradient, you just want to go in, down the row and not kind of experiment and play with things. Now, one thing I thought about when the palette was released is that this felt like trick or treat and you got a trick instead of a treat. Because I was like, oh my God, everything is everywhere. Like, what is happening? This is not Blend Bunny. And I was laughing. I was like, this is hilarious because I just feel like I've been tricked. Do I like it? Yes and no. And I say yes and no because one, I like that she's keeping us on our toes. It's not the same thing that we've come to expect, which is good because you don't want a brand to get boring. You want to make sure that you don't get too predictable and things like expected of you. So I do appreciate that. No, it's pastel. And I'm not saying no because it's bad quality or anything. Again, these are the first two looks I'm doing with this. I'm saying no because I don't know how to work with pastels. Similar to the last palette that Blend Bunny released, it was new for me. I was figuring it out. And pastels are something that particularly scare me because they're white. They are white-based shadows. And on a deeper complexion, white is ash. White just looks crazy. So these light shades, I was like, I'm about to look so casket ready in so many different colors. So for me, I had a little bit of a panic attack because I was like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do with this? And when it comes to pastels, because it's not a shade that I think flatters darker complexions that easily, you actually have to put in a lot of work and know how to use these shadows to use them. And because of that, these aren't exactly shadows that I would reach for very often. Now, I do think where pastels work well on, like my complexion is as an inner corner highlight, as a nice pop of color when you just want to like add a little something extra. But for a whole look, it's not necessarily something that I see myself doing or I see a lot of people that look like me doing. Now, I have created these two looks. I've swatched a couple of these. The shimmers perform well. It is harder to apply, I will say that. And I think part of that is I'm someone who likes to blend. With pastels, you want to get the full opacity, which means you have to pack it on the lids. And I'm not used to that technique. Also, if you want the full color payoff, you have to go in with a lighter primer, which I did do for today's looks, but it wasn't like white. And it was still something that I'm not used to it. I've never done it before. This was actually my first time playing in pastel. So I was really, you guys, figuring this out as I went along. So please go gentle on me in the video because I didn't know what I was doing. Now, another interesting thing that I want to point out with this palette is that it is pastel, but there are deep shades. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 deep shades. And there are no mid-tone shades. So it felt kind of weird and off to me a little bit where it was like, you get all pastels, which is like the lightest part of the spectrum, and then deepening shades. So you have like the lightest and the deepest part of the spectrum. Now, that being said, the Blend Bunny shadows really do blend. So if you did want to take any of the pastels and deepen it up, you could use the deepening shades to do that. But if you are a beginner, that actually does take a little bit of practice. Like figuring out how to get the right depth and how to blend things together so that they don't become muddy, they don't get too deep, is something that takes practice. So it might not be the most beginner-friendly palette. This will definitely push me out of my comfort zone. I did have a lot of fun playing with this and creating these two looks. I used some graphic liner, which is something that I had never done before. And I said in like my goals 2023 video that I want to play in graphic liner. And it literally took Blend Bunny releasing a pastel palette for me to play in graphic liner. But yeah, so like, you know, I don't think it's necessarily going to be a release for everybody. And I think part of that is going to be because, one, of the layout of the palette and the fact that it's not in that gradient. Two, the fact that it is complete pastels. In addition to pastels not being everyone's cup of tea, I do think that because we are in fall, a lot of people are going to overlook pastels just generally because it's a fall, you know, it's not necessarily a fall release. But I will say I appreciate Blend Bunny for releasing a fall or Halloween themed palette that is not the standard Halloween color story. And you guys know what I'm talking about. The purple, the green, the orange. She didn't give us that. She gave us something completely different. So I am definitely going to be looking at other creative videos on the palette, trying to get some inspiration, specifically looking at darker creators and how they use the palette, because it is not a skill that I possess, but I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to practice, I'm willing to try. I can fully admit that these are not the best looks that I've ever created. They're not the cleanest or anything like that, but it was fun, scary, and everything, trying up something new for me, and I appreciate it. Look at blends, always keeping me on my toes. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys feel about the Blend Bunny release? How are you thinking about it? You know, it definitely threw me for a loop, and I'm sure others feel the same way as well. Okay, so let's cover a couple more. We're already at 30 minutes, and again, I'm trying to not make this too long. Unearthly has, is this their Halloween box? Yes, it's their limited edition Halloween set. Is already for pre-sale. I don't know how much this is gonna cost. I don't know, guys. Like, sometimes I see palettes from Unearthly and I'm like, oh, that's a pretty color story. And then I remember I don't like the Unearthly formula. And I don't know if they've changed it, but I'm also not willing to, like, spend money to be reminded that I don't like the formula. When it comes to indie brands, it's very, 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 very hard to return anything. So I try to not just buy things willy-nilly. But I know my girl Kara, she loves Unearthly, and she does have, she is an affiliate with them. So I would definitely say check out her video, because she probably, I think she is planning to pick this one up. Okay, let's talk about Lisa Eldridge and the fact that Lisa has lost her mind. So Lisa is releasing a luxury beauty bag made with Liberty fabric. I don't care what kind of fabric this is unless it was woven by the hands of Jesus and his 12 disciples. Because you are not going to try to sell me an empty makeup bag for $62 and not tell me that Mary, Joseph, and Jesus did not cry tears on it. Because you must have lost your mind. I'm so confused. And if you want to get the bag for free, you have to buy $156 worth of product. Lisa. Now, I love me some Lisa Eldridge. She has my favorite lipstick formula, hands down. But Lisa needs to tell me that this bag was blessed by the Pope, because there ain't no way. I am so confused. Now, it says that this is made from Tana lawn, which is a fine, cool, and durable cotton with a silk-like feel. It's apparently vegan. It's some sort of Egyptian cotton. If it's Egyptian cotton, Moses must have woven it himself. Cleopatra. So, who? I need to know who, because this ain't making no sense. The math ain't mathing. $62 for an empty bag. An empty makeup bag. No. And I'm sure many of us have that velvet bag that we get for free when we order from her from previous releases. I think I have 2 of them. I've probably given away one. But, like, I'm not paying. No. I know this in the Glamlite ugly, ghost face bag, but this is just as bad. This is ridiculous. And them zippers better be solid gold as well, because... oh, child. Okay, let's keep on moving. Okay, Lethal Cosmetics. Is this like part 2? Because I feel like they did a 7-Up palette before. Oh yeah, so it's the sequel. Wait, oh, I guess it's called 2-Up, not 7-Up. So the first one was called 1-Up. The second one is called 2-Up. Is this Tetris? I don't understand. But I don't like it. There's a ton of wasted space. They could have just given us more shadows. Like, why you give us empty space in this palette? Fill up the palette with shadows for me, please. The palette is going to be $40.50. There are going to be some other products in this release as well. Some water-activated liners. Ooh, those I do want. Oh, they're magnetic. Why are they magnetic? Oh, I guess magnetic to put into a magnetic pan. I thought there was a magnet in the liners. I was like, I don't want my eye, like, being attracted to, like, I don't know where I was going with that. But the single water liners are going to be $7.50. The duos are going to be $8. Now that I, like, know how to do little graphic liner thingies, I'm actually intrigued. I'm interested in this. That orange pink looks like a hella dope combination. I kind of want it, but we're not and I don't think I'm gonna be buying it right away. So it looks like there's gonna be some kind of drops to activate the liners for $11 as well. And then some random merch like stickers and gems, and nobody wants that. Unnecessary. So we're just gonna ignore that. Angie Hot and Flashy has a new brush set with BK Beauty. Y'all know how I feel about BK Beauty, so we're not going to rehash that, but congrats to her again. Danessa Myricks looks like there's a new blush shade. Oh, that's pretty on the lips. I don't know about the blush of it, but the lips are cute. Let's see. Let's just do like 2 more so that this video isn't forever long. I feel like the universe is hearing me say that I need water-activated liners because Glisten Cosmetics has a set of water-activated liners for $30. So it's 5 Spooktacular split liners. So essentially it's, 10 in total for $30. Does that make it like $3 a piece? That's not bad. Notoriously Morbid, the Night of the Vivid Dead palette. I know my girl Kara, she has a first impressions video on this. It's neon, y'all. It is neon. This is pretty. It's gonna be $39.99. I kind of want it, but this would be something that I wear for a video and probably never use again because where am I going with neons? Where? Nowhere. That's where. Not a single place. So it's just not a practical purchase for me right now, but it is cute. I will fully admit that. Oh, and I forgot to mention this, but there are going to be 2 lip oils that are part of the Blend Bunny release. So it's going to be a blue one and a black one. I got my palette before the lip oils came in, so those will be sent to me at a later date, but did want to make sure that I mentioned that to you guys. Okay, let's find one last thing, and then we can get out of here. Okay, we haven't talked about these guys in a while because they have definitely slowed down their releases a lot, but the ColourPop has a 11/11 collection. It's actually really pretty. I saw Leah Janae do swatches of this, and it looked pretty pigmented. I don't know if they've worked on improving their formula or whatever, but it looked really nice. And one thing she said was that this feels kind of like a dupe for the new Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. So if you were all willing to pay Natasha's price and you wanted, a cheaper option, ColourPop might be it. It's definitely not going to be the same formula by any means, but I also don't think the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette is anything to scream from the hilltops, but that's a whole other conversation that we'll get to in my ranking the last 10 eyeshadow palettes video. But let me scooch back into the middle and we'll wrap up today's video. Okay guys, that's it from me and all of the new makeup releases. I know there's a lot going on. I will say, I think our pockets are safe. I think we can all breathe a sigh of release. All of the products that I feel like we were waiting on came out, and quite frankly, none of them really feel like a must-have in my opinion. Just saying, don't shoot the messenger. But that being said, I also want to remind y'all, September is done, which means that Black Friday is tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's right around the corner. So wait for a sale, y'all. The sales are coming, and they are coming with a quickness. So just hold your horses. Oh, shoot. One thing that we didn't talk about, so let me quickly insert it here, is the Odin's Eye release. Last time I mentioned it, they were sneak peeking it, and it is the Halloween collection from Angeshka. I think it's really pretty, but I'm going to wait on it. And I will say that I think that it was a slow burn for me. When I saw it, I was like, ew. And then the more I saw people use it in swatches, I was like, ooh. It literally went from ew to ooh. So I do want it, but I think I'm going to wait for a sale. And, you know, typically for Black Friday, Odin's Eye will do 40% off. So I'm hoping that it's still available then and I can get it at 40% off. That's going to be my game plan. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Let me know down in the comments and in the chat what products you are interested in picking up, what you have your eyes on, and what do you feel about some of those, you know, releases that we've been waiting on. Leave all that in the comments below. As always, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe on your way out if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more from me. I appreciate you guys so much more than you know. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye!